heavy is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple man's like...
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy TSG, That's Our Guy, and welcome back to a Premier League match day preview for Leicester City versus Chelsea. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my starting lineup as well as my score prediction. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. Alright guys, so look. Pretty nice international break we had. A lot of players went out and did their thing. I think there's 8 or 9 teams that have already qualified for the World Cup. So good job to those teams that have qualified. But most importantly, we're finally back. I'm ready for a Premier League match again. And you couldn't get a better game than Leicester City after the break. Leicester hasn't performed how they usually do, and they haven't been as good as they could be this season. But at the same time, Leicester is always a strong team, and they're always going to bring us a tough game. We're going to the King Power Stadium. This is going to be a away match for us. We've been very good in our away matches so far this season, and having only had 2 goals scored against us in the Prem, I don't see us having much of a problem. I truthfully believe we are the best team in the league. I mean, if you look at the league table, we are the best team in the league. I think we can beat any of these teams now. I think our team is so good. We have 2 players out for this game. Rom isn't going to be playing. He is back to team training, hopefully after this game, and Kovacic isn't back to fitness yet. He's been having a little bit of issues. But Timo Werner is back. Thiago Silva was another one of those players that they weren't so sure about, him coming back from Brazil and just having a little bit of issues. So you'll see in my team how I base the lineup off of the players we have available and the players that came back. So with that being said, let's get straight into the first player. As far as the goalkeeper, you guys already know there's only one man I believe should be playing in the Premier League matches, and that's this guy right here, Edouard Mendy. He's gone and done things for us this season that we wouldn't have expected. He's playing better than anybody would have expected us to get out of a goalkeeper that we spent this amount of money on, and a player that a couple years ago wasn't even known to anybody. I don't think a lot of people would say they knew who Edouard Mendy was before he joined Chelsea. Everybody knows who Edouard Mendy is now. Unfortunately, with the Benjamin Mendy allegations and his name and face being on those articles, that was a very unfortunate thing for him. I think he handled it pretty well, the statement that he put out. He's just a class character. He's 100% going to be our starting goalkeeper for quite a few years. I like the fact that goalkeepers can play for so long, so it allows us to have a strong goalkeeper like this. But for me, nobody can start over Edouard Mendy right now. As far as my back 3, I went with the back 3 of Rudiger, Christensen, and Aspi, simply because I probably would have went with Rudiger, Thiago Silva in the middle, and Christensen on the right. But with Thiago Silva and what Thomas Tuchel said in the press conference about the little bit of issues that Thiago Silva was having, I think he's going to go and make sure that the team is good. Having 3 players that played for their country during the international break, they're all in pretty good form. Aspi went and did his thing for Spain. Same thing with Christensen and Rudiger for their respective countries. And I think with Thiago Silva being out, this is probably the strongest that we could field. Aspi deserves to come back in the team. He's been playing well. He should be one of those players that it's hard for us to have the same back 3 in these games. We have so many good defenders, and we're talking about bringing in possibly another defender in the January transfer window, or even maybe a midfielder. But I think the players we have are good enough to get us through to the end of the season. Rudiger's contract is still up in the air. Looking like Rudiger is probably going to leave the club. Not that I want that to happen, but looking like that's what's going to happen. Christensen still hasn't signed his contract. I think he'll end up signing. He'll probably get more money than Chelsea wanted to pay him, but I don't see us being willing to lose 2 of our top defenders, especially seeing as we're doing so good, and their heads might not be there if they sign a pre-contract agreement in January. They might not fully be with the team, and their heads might not be there. So we're probably going to get these contracts situated. Hopefully Rudiger signs. I'm not too sure. But this is my back 3 for now. As far as my midfield four, I'm going for 3-4-3 if I didn't already say that. Going to be this right here. Ben Chilwell and Reece James. They picked themselves time and time and time again. I don't think anybody else should be playing in these two spots. I know Alonso can do his thing. I know Aspie can do his thing. But the best in our team right now are these two. They should be playing in the spots. And this is who we need to play in the spot against a fast-paced Leicester team with Vardy up front, Iheanacho up front, Patson Daka up front. Tielemans is probably going to be doing his thing. They have a very strong team, and we need the players on the wing that we do to stop them because they could be deadly to us on the counterattack. This is one of those games we have to be very careful. We can't not respect Leicester because of how good a quality their team is, and they can come to perform on any day. So those two, I think, can do a good attacking job for us as well as defensive if they need to. I think we need somebody like Jorginho in this team to counteract what Tielemans does. Tielemans does very good, and he tries to dominate the midfield for Leicester, and he does the stuff so well. I think we need somebody to counteract him, and then also somebody like N'Golo Kante who can also shut down the rest of the midfield. He can come in, get the ball, win the ball back, push it up the field. Hopefully, just completely shut down players like Tielemans, and because they have a quality midfield, shut down those players during this game, so that our front, our forwards, and our wingbacks are able to move up and have the ball in the front foot a lot more. As far as my front three, I found it very difficult to name a front three with Ziyech. Timo Werner's back. You got Pulisic in there. You have Mason Mount. There's so many good people that you could start in this game. The front three that I went with are these three right here: Kai Havertz, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount. Mason Mount's been back in training after his teeth stuff. I think when Mason Mount's fit, he has to start. He's one of those players that brings a lot of energy. He can change the game for us. He's very influential. I see him being a Chelsea captain in the future. The way he carries himself and the way he performs is very good. Across from him, you have Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi, this is probably going to be his last game before Rom comes back, where he can actually prove himself and can show he should be in the starting lineup. And the same thing with Kai Havertz. I don't think Timo Werner is going to start this game. I think he's going to start on the bench. I may be wrong, but I think for these two, it's their last opportunity to prove that they should be starters, because I'm pretty positive once Rom is in good health and back into the team, and Timo Werner, same thing, they will 100% be the starters for the. As far as the subs bench looks like this. It's become a point now where we're going to have difficulties deciding who's going to be even on the subs bench each week. With the quality of players that we have coming back, with only 9 spots available on the bench for the Premier League, and even with that being said, only 3 of them are going to be able to come on every game. You still have players like Kovacic and Romelu Lukaku that are going to come back. You have players like Bertinelli that didn't even make the bench, in my opinion. And it just makes it very difficult to pick a lineup every week. If you look at that bench, there's top quality on the bench, super strong bench. You could call on any one of these players to do a job off the bench, and I truthfully think any one of them would do an amazing job off the bench. Players like Rom coming back, Kovacic coming back, even adds to the competition and shows that each week the bench could be different, each week the lineup could be different. These players are going to have a serious fight for their place in the team. And overall, with the January transfer window, if we bring players in, like we're always looking at Declan Rice, and there's been rumors in the air about us getting Chouameni and that Turkish defender, that 23-year-old Turkish defender. His name's slipping my head right now, but there's talk about him, and there's talks about Fofana, and I don't know how that's going to work. He's injured, but there's just talks about all these other defenders and all these midfielders. If we bring those in, that's even more competition. Plus, you have people like Saul, who I don't think is going to do enough to earn a contract. He didn't even make the bench either, but there's players we got to decide on his future, sending him back. In the summer, we have players coming back like Conor Gallagher, Billy Gilmore. We have all these good players that are also going to come back to the team that should be starting. I think, unfortunately for Billy, he's going to have to go back out on loan because Conor Gallagher has been so good, and I think he's going to be in that team, whether it's starting on the subs bench and building. I think Ross Barkley will probably get sold in January, which will allow us to maybe bring another midfielder in and have him compete for the spots. Kind of hope we keep Loftus-Cheek. Conor Gallagher is going to come back. He's going to he's going to be a force in this team. I think he's going to be do very well in this team. He's another attacking presence that creates problems for Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Timo Werner, Pulisic, the players that play in those forward positions. He's going to be playing in those positions, in my opinion. It's going to add a lot of extra quality to our team, so I'm super excited about that. Without rambling on too much, as far as a score prediction against Leicester, that team that's game, a Leicester team that with Brendan Rodgers in the news basically coming out and saying like he hasn't been talking about that Manchester United job. There's been a lot of rumors that he's going to take the United job and Ollie's going to get fired. He spoke on that and said that those rumors are not necessarily true. You never know. Managers say anything. They're going to be game. They're going to want to prove that they can win. But overall, I think Chelsea's going to be too much for them. I think this is going to be a competitive game. We could get scored against in this game. I've been predicting a lot of clean sheets with this Leicester team being so good and so pacey. I think they might squeeze one past us. So final score prediction for me, I'd say 3-1 Chelsea. Leicester, if Patson Daka plays, I feel like Patson Daka can score. I think he's been better than Vardy. I think Vardy started out pretty good this season. But I think overall, obviously, Patson Daka is going to replace him. It's probably going to end up being Daka and Iheanacho up front. Good players they have. But as far as goal scorers for us, I think, Reece James is going to come back in, do that defender goal stuff that we've been doing this season. Timo Werner I think Timo Werner comes off the bench and scores one. He adds pace to the team, and he's either going to score a goal or provide an assist. If he provides an assist, I think that assist is going to go to Kai Havertz. So that's the 3 goals for me. That is it for this video. Stay tuned for the Chelsea review after the game tomorrow. I'm going to be super excited to push that out for you guys. With all that being said, if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. I hope to see you guys soon. It's been your boy, TSG, That Soccer Guy, signing out.
How heavy is that? Light work with the bass on the track, on my face to the back like I'm taking a slap. I need a drink, but it's straight from the tap. And I'm hating the slack, couple miles all around.